Precious Prodigy Peter Parker by concreteflour. Chapter 4. A New Arm. A week after the training room session, Steve was leading Bucky down to the lab area. A very nervous Bucky followed behind, head swivelling as fast as he could. "Are you sure this is safe? You know Stark doesn't want me down here." Steve nodded. "It's okay, Tony's in Hong Kong. It's Peter that's going to work on your arm today." "That squirt!" exclaimed Bucky. "He's just Stark's intern, isn't he? He can't mess with the arm. It took Jury months to fine-tune this." "Don't worry," Steve said. "I believe you'll be in good hands. I think Peter is up there in the same league as Jury and Tony. Let's at least give him a chance, okay?" Bucky reluctantly nodded, and they finished the short walk to the lab. Peter heard the door opened for them to enter. "Thank you for coming, Sergeant Barnes. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do to improve your prosthesis. I have a lot of great ideas. I think it'll be really super when we're done." Of course, it didn't really sound like that, since it actually came across as, "Thank you for coming, Sergeant Barnes. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you can do to improve your prosthesis. I have got great ideas. I think it'll be really super when we're done." Bucky actually looked afraid, while Steve grinned. It didn't matter though, because with Steve's pushing, Bucky allowed himself to be placed in a chair next to the work table. Peter started by taking 100 measurements, length and circumferences, width of each band in individual segments, each while giving a running list of how impressed he was with Jury's work. By the time Peter got around to actually disconnecting the arm from Bucky's neural interface, the ex-Winter Soldier was internally laughing. The kid reminded him of the constant chatter a young Steve Rogers would spout when they were growing up. Definitely not on any subjects like comparative metallurgy or the plastic deformation versus brittle fracture of a metal. A little over an hour later, Bucky was all reassembled and he and Steve were headed upstairs. "Does that kid ever shut up?" Bucky asked. "You're still upset about Berlin," Steve replied. "Well, yeah, it's tough to find out a 12-year-old glued me to a wall," came Bucky's indignant reply. "Well, I'm finding out there's more to that young kid than I thought. He might be as smart as Tony. Did you even listen to what he had planned for you?" I kinda got lost shortly after he started. I haven't had the punk like that to listen to in a long time, since you were about 2 feet shorter." "Well," said Steve, "tomorrow when we come back you might just be in for a surprise." Peter spent the night in the lab. He had already complete diagnostics of at least this version of Bucky's arm, as well as some examples of other versions. He had several upgrades planned and already mapped out, just needing to make sure the neural interface would support the changes. He directed Friday to make the changes to the next version of Bucky's arm, as he worked his way through the process. The AI tirelessly followed Peter's commands late into the following morning, only stopping when the AI noted Peter's blood sugar starting to drop. It was time for more food. Peter finally got to bed at about 8 a.m. That afternoon, Steve again led Bucky down to the lab. This time Bucky wasn't quite as nervous. The open threat of Stark was somewhat lessened by the friendliness of Peter. Again, Bucky was put into the chair. Peter started a non-stop running dialogue of what he had improved. Bucky only caught about a third of it, and not enough to make sense of it all. Only 10 minutes after his arm came off, a new arm took its place. Bucky looked down at the lump where his other arm had been, the one that responded to his every whim, and nothing. "I don't feel anything," Bucky said. "Please, Sergeant Barnes, give it a minute. There are software upgrades as well as hardware. A reboot of the neural interface is required to link the processors in that right order." Bucky looked over to Steve. "Did you catch any of that?" Steve laughed. "He said to let it warm up before you put it into gear." "Why didn't he say that then?" "Because, Buck, smart people use bigger words and more of them. Look at Banner, Stark, and even your friend Jury. None of them say 2 words when 20 is possible." Peter was looking at a set of computer readouts from a cable plugged into Bucky's arm. "Okay, the reboot is all complete. We can try it out now." And he unplugged the wire from the arm. Cautiously, Bucky started to raise his arm. His face had a look of doubt on it. It slowly faded as he put more and more range of motion on his arm. "Hey kid, that's pretty good. It feels smoother than the last arm." Peter was watching him intently. "That's great. Can I get you to put your arm in front of you, like in a blocking manoeuvre?" "Okay." And Bucky swung his arm in front of his body. "Now try saying this. Deploy shield," Peter said. Okay. Deploy shield." As soon as the last syllable had been uttered, a 5-inch, slightly curved piece of vibranium slid out of both sides of Bucky's forearm. The effect tripled the size of the metal covering his chest, greatly increasing the protection the arm offered. "Wow, that's neat." "Try saying retract shield." "Retract shield." And the shield slid back into place. "Wow." "That's not the best feature. Come over here," Peter said. Out of his pocket he took a dime and placed it on top of the lab table. "Go ahead and pick that up." "I can't. The vibranium fingers don't allow me to have that level of control. I have to use my real hand to do that." "Just try for me, please." Bucky sighed and reached his new arm towards the top of the table. As his fingers made contact with the metal surface, his eyes got really big and he froze. "Hey, I can feel that. Steve, I can feel the table." He continued his fingers along the table until they came to the dime, and deftly picked it up between 2 fingers. "I did it. I picked up a dime. I never thought that was possible. I can feel it between my fingertips. I can feel the serrated edges. This is impossible." Bucky turned to the young man, who was all smiles now. How'd you manage to do this? It's impossible." "I overlaid a vibranium mesh with a rubber thermoplastic that contains a sensory net tied into your neural implant. It gives you at least the feeling in the fingertips without losing that much structural integrity. It may need to be replaced more often, but the advantages should outweigh the risks." "I don't care about the risks. This is fantastic. I can feel again. I just picked up a dime. Steve, did you see that? I picked up a dime." "Yes, Bucky, I saw you picked up the dime. Now I think it's time you picked up a check. I think you owe our inventor here a nice dinner. I think he's earned it." "And he'll get it. This is much better than Stark or even Jury ever did. This is great. Dinner's on me. Let's go." They all left the lab and headed out to find something to eat. "Ah, Steve," Bucky said contritely. "I'm a little short. Would you be able to spot me some cash?" Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the chapter. Have a lovely day.